We are officially live at a new Juju live session with my many times guest, Mr. Sawa. أهلا وسهلا يا أستاذي.
Vicky, thank you.
Here we are again, one more time exploring a beautiful theme, the aesthetics for Oriental dancers, particularly on stage, in the field of Egyptian dance. So I'm holding your new book in my hands. As we spoke before, I'm not going to go deep into it because we have a podcast interview about to happen, and I will pick your brain on this exhaustive and beautiful work you have done here. But you may come back to this book, I presume you will, throughout our session for references that you may find interesting for dancers. So first of all, when we speak about the aesthetics of performers or for performers, we're talking about the visual side of the dance, but we may be talking about more than that. For me, when I speak about aesthetics, I speak about beauty, and beauty can be many things. It can be many things. So I have reserved a few questions from students in our course. We are running a course at Joana Saahirah's online dance school called How to Create an Irresistible Egyptian Dance Performance. So it's focused on performance and how to make something exceptional, out of ordinary. And this is a preview of the masterclass we're going to teach together on the 20th of February, focus on the aesthetics and musicality for performers. But now we're going to answer questions only around the aesthetics. So without further ado, and I'm not even introducing you, I'm not introducing myself. In a while, we're going to do that, but let's jump into it and let's invite dancers who may be joining us live, watching us live, to participate, share your questions, share your feedback. We always like to hear from you. First question for us to answer is what it means to be a beautiful Oriental dancer. What does it mean? When we say, oh, what a beautiful ra'asa, what a beautiful Oriental dancer, what are we talking about? What makes a beautiful Oriental dancer?
Something coming from her heart. She has to have a beautiful spirit, good nature, and be kind to the audience, be loving to the audience.
What do you mean by good nature?
Don't frown, smile and be happy, but don't have a plastic smile. Have a real heart smile from your heart. When you look at singers, folk singers or classical singers in the Western world, they always frown. Don't frown. Be happy that you're belly dancing or performing.
دم خفيف يعني.
أهم حاجة دم خفيف شربات. أيوة.
That's it. هو ده دم خفيف.
دم خفيف. صح.
Okay.
They always emphasize it. All the way back to the 10th century, good nature. You don't need to be nasty to the audience, be loving and good spirit and be happy with dancing.
Because in the end, we want, I was just teaching a class at the course that I mentioned, and we were talking about engagement with the audience. And in the end of the day, we want them with us. We want to bring an experience where both of us, the dancer and the audience, are coming together. So if you don't have that good disposition, if you don't have that willingness to have a good time and to provide a good experience to your audience, you're going to be separated from the audience. It's going to be you doing your thing, very serious, very heavy, تقيل, يعني حاجة تقيلة, and then they are watching and they feel in the obligation to clap at the end. Yes. But it is not an experience where both are engaged and both are participating. And in the end, that's what we want, right? Yeah. I mean, aside from what you mentioned, I would add a couple of things to a beautiful Oriental dancer. And these may fall into the category of things that may annoy dancers, because sometimes I say things people don't want to hear, but I say it with love, and I say them because I'm speaking from experience. Yeah. So the visual side of the dance is also important.
Yes.
What do I mean visual side? I don't believe you have to look a certain way necessarily, but you have to know, you have to be aware that dance is also a visual art form. It's not only a visual art form, but it's also a visual art form. This is why we work on posture. This is why we work on technique. And we make sure the movement is beautiful and it looks beautiful. This is why we work on lines, patterns, directions, angles, shapes, because there is a side of dance that is visual and we cannot escape it.
Yes, exactly.
So what usually happens is that when we think about beauty, you have the kind of dancers who will focus on what you mentioned, the energy, the disposition, the mood, and that's very important, but they may forget the visual side. So they think, it's not that important if I don't have good technique, or if I don't have good posture, or if I don't know what I'm doing, physically speaking. I am charismatic. I'm charismatic, I'm engaging, I will create, some fun. And they think that's enough. On the other side, you have dancers who are very serious. Very heavy, very serious. Oh, I'm an artist. I have to suffer. And they have to watch me suffer because I'm doing something very serious. I'm an artist, Fanana, but I'm not here having a good time. I'm a fanana. So they overcharge. They are tense. They are anxious. You can actually see them suffering, trying so hard. So in an ideal world, we would have a beautiful visual image, like a painting. Okay, this is the way I see it. It's like a painting in motion.
And always remember what Sohair Zaki said in the 60s. The way for the body to smile is to belly dance. It's very important. So be happy. It's part of happiness and smiling.
I think sometimes the pressure of performance takes over.
Oh, yeah.
People get afraid.
If you have stage fright, you're finished. It's the worst. You get paralyzed with stage fright. Just let go, dance, have fun,
and prepare before you go on stage. That's another way. It's the best way to relax. I usually tell my students when they're preparing a performance, suffer when nobody's watching, so that when they're watching, you don't need to suffer anymore because you have already suffered in the background. In your studio, when you're working, you can suffer, cry, rip your hair off, knock your face on the wall. No problem. Nobody's watching. But when you're on stage, show them the product of all that work. So instead of suffering and pushing and struggling and worrying, enjoy your time. It's supposed to be enjoyable. So let's go to the second question.
Sure.
How do I become a more beautiful dancer in practical terms? What can dancers do to become more beautiful on stage? And again, we've already covered that when we talk about beauty or aesthetics, we're talking about the visual and we're talking about the energy, the disposition, the attitude, the experience you provide to your audience. Now, what can they do in practical terms to become more beautiful, to improve their aesthetics on stage? What do you think?
Lots of practice. So that when you're on stage, you don't think of technique anymore. That's very important, because if you think of technique, the people will see it. You should be above the technique and have a nice costume that fits you, fits your skin, the color of your skin, fits your body. The costume is very important.
There is a famous theater professor, teacher that I studied when I was studying to be an actress in the conservatoire. His name was Konstantin Stanislavski. That's from Russian theater. And he used to tell his students, actors, study technique so that you can forget about technique.
Yes, exactly.
So the point of technique is that you study, you practice, you automatize it, you bring it into your muscle memory, like musicians. You practice the kanun or the kamanga or the ney, so that when you're performing, you're not thinking about where your fingers will go. They know where they will go. Khalas. It's in the muscle memory. But muscle memory doesn't come from the sky, unfortunately. I hope. Yarit. One night it falls from the sky. Muscle memory. Don't you wish? I wish. But there is no way. You have to repeat. You have to work. You have to practice. You have to do it again and again and again, so that you can do it in your sleep.
Yes.
And when the language is second nature to you, you go on stage and all that beauty, visual,
Shows.
And energetic comes naturally. It flows.
Yeah, and you have to be flying on stage. Even when I play Qanun, I'm flying over the strings. I don't think of technique anymore. I think of beauty, the beauty of the music. People can tell immediately.
You can go into a state of tarab.
Oh, I do. I either close my eyes and fly, and people start to laugh because they're stupid, because they don't realize that I'm just so happy that I'm flying with the music. Yeah. Or I cry. Sometimes I cry because the music is so beautiful.
That's tarab.
Yeah,
That's tarab. But
yes.
once again, you can only get to that state of transcendence.
Transcendence.
And you can only get there because the technical work has been done.
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah, if you are already thinking about how do I do this? How do I create this note? How do I go next? Where do I put my fingers next? How do I do this ornament? If you're still wondering,
it's bad news.
It's terrible news. And the stage is not the place for that. Again, do it in the background when nobody's watching. That's why I say suffer in the background.
Don't do this on stage. Don't learn technique on stage. On stage, you perform. You don't study.
Exactly. And what happens so frequently is that dancers go on stage working on technique. And you can see them thinking and wondering.
Oh, yeah.
Should I go there? Should I do this? And instead of flying and allowing themselves to go into a state of tarab, which is another kind of beauty, that's a higher kind of beauty, because that's divine energy that you're bringing to the stage. That's divine energy. That's God.
So true.
That's God.
Yeah.
But you can only go there to those depths, to those levels, when the basics of your craft have been automatized and you're not thinking about them anymore.
Very true. Very well said. Yeah.
About the clothes, I have to confess, I'm very bad with clothing for the stage. I am very bad. I'm going to tell you why. First of all, it is important that dancers consider comfort. I always think that comfort is above aesthetic beauty on stage. Why?
Yes.
Because I need to have bedla that allows me to move efficiently. And I have had bedla, very beautiful, and I suffer. It's hurting me here. It's hurting me there. I'm afraid to lose my skirt. I'm afraid my bra will jump. It's terrible. So I'm thinking about my clothes instead of being relaxed and thinking about my dance. So in order to create that beauty, I believe that the choice of clothing has to do with comfort, allowing you to move, and also in conformity with the style that you're dancing.
Yeah.
So if you're dancing Saidi, what should I wear? If I'm dancing Bedouin, what should I wear? If I'm dancing a classical piece, what should I wear? If I'm dancing Beledi Awedi, let's say, what should I wear? So that the style of the music, the style of the dance matches the way you look.
Yes, very important.
Okay, there is no contradiction that denounces ignorance.
Yeah.
Okay, because sometimes, let's say, I'm wearing a very classical bedla, doing shadi. Doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't match, and it denounces my ignorance of the style. So then we have good taste for bedlas. I don't think I have good taste, so I am the worst person. I never had good taste. I don't think so. I look at my bedlas, and I say, what was I thinking, But I wasn't thinking too much because, again, that was never where my focus was. I'm not the kind of woman, a typical woman, who loses her head over clothing, and I focus on the dance. So the clothing, it's like second in my priorities. But it is important. It is important for sure. Then we have, what is the ideal look for Oriental dancers on stage? Is there an ideal look? I'm going to add a question. Is there an ideal look for dancers on stage? What do you think?
I would say good posture. Good posture will just go through your whole body, even your face. And, they did talk about it in like over 1,000 years ago. All good posture, good spirit, agility. being gentle in your movement. Don't dance kung fu. You're not here fighting. You're not playing judo or kung fu or whatever. This is a gentle, feminine, beautiful dance.
For the record, you said that. I didn't say that because I don't want to be burned on the stake. So, guys, Mr. George said this. I didn't say it, but I'm going to say it as well. So I agree with you. Absolutely. Okay. So, halas. What can I do? I am my worst enemy. I would add something else. A while ago, a few years ago, a festival sponsor who was also a dancer, commented with me. She shared with me that she was thinking about cutting her hair short, and her colleagues told her, don't do that because that's the end. You cannot perform Egyptian dance with short hair. That's not going to work. And she told me, Joana, what do you think? Should I cut my hair? Should I not? Maybe that's not how an Oriental should look like. An Oriental dancer should look like. I told her that your hair does not make you an Oriental dancer. So do whatever you like with your body. It's not a question of long hair or short hair. That's not going to make you a better dancer or a more beautiful dancer. Now, of course, there is, at least in Egypt, there is an ideal of beauty. Let's say in Egypt, at least it used to be a curvaceous body, a nice hair, big expressive eyes, a feminine, full rounded woman.
Yes. Yes.
That's usually what people expect from an Oriental dancer on stage.
Yeah.
In the West, I think the spectrum opens up. People expect a fit dancer, a dancer who is physically fit. They don't necessarily have that specific image that Egyptians have of a curvaceous. I don't think that in the West it's so strict. But still, people expect something. They have an idea of how an Oriental dancer looks like. The question is, first, I agree with you. Your posture, the way you present yourself, again, the painting you create on stage is so important.
Yeah.
I don't care if the hair goes until here or goes until here or is up or is down, but imagine that you are a painting in motion, right? What kind of images, what kind of shapes, what kind of colors are you creating on stage, right? I would focus so much more on that than how my hips are. I'm tall, I'm short, I have black hair or blonde hair, because I don't believe that makes the dancer. And if you are a really good dancer, people are not going to focus on that. That is for sure.
And there are times somebody like Karaoke had short hair, and Suirzak had long hair. It doesn't matter.
So although there are expectations around how Oriental dances should look like, I believe there are expectations. But you can go against those expectations. I don't think you must be a slave to them at all. And the stronger you are as a dancer, the less you can pay attention to those expectations.
Exactly.
So, the stronger you are as a dancer, the more you can go out of the box. That is true for the way you look, the way you're dressing. I mean, because then your audience will be focusing on your dance. In the end, they will not remember what color was her hair.
Yeah.
How were her eyes? Was she tall? They will not remember. If you're doing it right, they don't remember those kinds of details. They remember your dance. Okay? So become as strong as you can, and that becomes irrelevant, I believe.
Joanna, I need to get a Kleenex to my nose.
Sure.
Right back.
Sure. While Mr. George is getting his napkin, I am going to read the next question, and I'm going to offer you my answer, and then Mr. George is going to offer his answer. And the question is, would you say that is true that an Egyptian audience would be more appreciative of an older dancer than an American audience? I find this question very interesting and very difficult. Okay, but I'm going to do my best to answer as honestly and usefully as possible. So, would you say that is true that Egyptian audiences would be more appreciative of an older dancer than an American one? So I am going to bring this question into a very important aspect of a performance, which is efficiency. Forget age now. Forget how you look. Forget every kind of detail. Let's talk about efficiency. What is efficiency? Efficiency is a great piece of dance, which is also entertaining and artistic and engaging. Independently of how old you are and where you're doing it, in Egypt or abroad, in the Western world, how efficient are you as a performer? Okay? Because this becomes more important than age. I'm going to read the question so that you can hear it. I was already answering, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you answer it and then I'll finish. It's a very interesting question. Tricky question.
Okay.
Would you say that is true that Egyptian audiences would be more appreciative of an older dancer than American audiences?
Can you say, I didn't hear the question well. Egyptian what?
Would you say that Egyptian audiences would be more appreciative of an older dancer than American audiences?
I got the Egyptian audience and the American, but something in the middle I did not hear properly.
Mm-hmm. It's okay. She's asking, I think this was Jamila, one of our dancers. She's asking if Egyptian audiences are more appreciative of older dancers. Older dancers than American audiences. She specifies American audiences.
Oh yeah, of course.
Are they more appreciative?
Oh, of course. Especially, the standard Semi Gamal, high karaoke, and then you have the wonderful Akif, Naim Akif. These are the champions of old. They're so graceful, and they lived in the same era. They're all different. It's just amazing. I mean,
she's talking about not dancers who have died, lived in the past. She's talking about current dancers.
Oh, if they're sort of old in age?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. If Egyptian audiences are more appreciative of older dancers than American. So I'm supposing that American audiences are not, because her question is letting us deduce that.
Exactly.
What do you think?
No, I think she's right. American audience want a very young dancer, young age. The Egyptians go beyond the age. They look at the dance, at the performance. How well is the dancer dancing? They're beyond sort of very superficial. This dancer is young and, she's more sexy than older dancer.
Yeah. For sure, yeah. I agree. I do think that Egyptian audiences go way deeper than Western audiences. So they know what they're looking at. And they know if they're looking at a dancer, a mature dancer who has something to offer, and they appreciate the talent and the know-how and the experience. And by the way, dancers like Soher Zaki, Nago Fuad, Mona Said, who passed away recently, I have never seen them perform live, but I have studied with them. And they were not young anymore when I studied with them. And I could tell they got better with age.
Of course.
Even if physically speaking, there were limitations. So someone had problem with the knee, someone was not so flexible anymore, or they didn't move so fast anymore. Yeah. But I could clearly see they were better at 50, 60, 70, 80 even than they had been when they were 30, 20, 40. I could feel that.
They're mature, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Egyptian dance is one of the few dance styles where you can actually mature and you get better. Yes. If you are in good physical conditions, I mean, if you are able to move,
Yeah.
And if you keep working on it, you get better with time. We cannot say that of many other dances like classical ballet, where you clearly lose momentum, you lose physical abilities with time. With Egyptian dance, you get better.
And
You
also,
improve.
if you're talking about modern dance, jazz dance, ballet dance, very hard on the body. It's painful as opposed to, belly dance. So gentle. You don't jump up and down. You don't do this crazy things that modern dance does. It's terrible.
It's organic. It's organic. It's a dance that goes with the body instead of going against the body.
Yes, exactly.
So that allows you to mature into it and to do it from a very early age until you die, basically. But just before you came, I was telling them about efficiency. So many dancers are caught in the question of age, when I think the question should be efficiency. Can you still create a beautiful, interesting, impactful performance? Yes or no? That is the main question, because many dancers with 20 years old cannot do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
The same way that many dancers with 50 or 60 or 70 or 80 cannot do that. So as long as your body is able to move efficiently, as long as your technique is sharp, as long as your musicality is there, your ability to dance is there, do not focus on how old I am or I'm not. Focus on efficiency. When you look at your performance and you say, you know what, that's a damn good performance, independently of how old you are or you are not, because that is not a measure of a great dancer or of a poor dancer. It's really not. I look at my performances when I was 20, 21, and I want to die. You're laughing, but this is dramatic, huh? You're laughing, but this is dramatic. Why I want to die? Because now I know what the hell I'm doing, and I didn't know what I was doing back then. I was just so immature and so unexperienced. I was 20. Should I be a better dancer because I was 20? No, I was a much worse dancer in every way.
Me too.
So, what are we searching for? Are we searching for age, or are we searching for efficiency? Is this a great dance piece? Is this a great musical piece? Or is this a piece done by a musician who is 19 years old?
Experience. To be mature, to have experience. That's very important. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Experience. Doing it, studying it, doing it on the stage, practicing it, making mistakes, learning, being involved in the craft, right? Being involved and studying, you build yourself up unless you stop working. And this is also something that dancers sometimes don't notice. When you dance, okay, imagine you've been dancing for a long time and then you stop. It happens for many reasons. Personal problems, dancer quits dance and they go do something else. And they still expect, years later, to dance the way they did when they stopped. I'm going to be very honest. This is not going to happen because the body needs to work. There is a documentary about Rudolf Nureyev. There are several, but there is one where you see him working at the bar very early in the morning, every day. We're talking about perhaps the greatest dancer who ever lived. Okay? So this is the best of the best in a very harsh discipline, which is classical ballet, Russian style. I mean, there is nothing harsher than that. Physically speaking, it's very demanding, very painful. In his later years, after having done everything he did in his career, #1 dancer in the world, he was in his studio working at the bar every morning.
Wow.
Every morning, because he knew that if he stopped, the machine would go rusty.
Yeah.
You don't lose your talent. You don't lose your talent, but the machine, the tool that you use to express your talent gets rusty if you don't use it.
Yeah.
So my advice and my warning for dancers when they think about aging is keep it moving.
Yes.
Keep yourself moving, keep yourself healthy, keep yourself dancing, keep yourself engaged with the dance, and focus on efficiency. How great can I deliver this performance, as opposed to focusing how old am I? They're going to hate me because I am this old. Yeah. Or they're going to love me because I'm very young. Also, they're going to love you because you're very young, so they are searching for a doll. They're not searching for a dancer. Be aware of that. Sometimes people clap. They don't clap for the reasons you wish them to clap. And that's also something you learn from experience. That,
oh, yeah.
Okay, just because you are cute, you are 20 or you are 19 or you are 3 years old or whatever, people clap, she's so cute. It doesn't mean you are a great artist at all.
You're just cute.
You're just cute. Or you have nice bedlam. Whatever.
Yeah.
So, Yani, let's put things into perspective. Point one, the more engaged you are with dance and music, the better you become at it. And if you stop for a long while, it's going to show. There is no other way. It's going to show. So it is important to practice it with consistency. This is also why when dancers are preparing to perform, I tell them, create a dance schedule for your own practice, because the body needs to work. The muscles need to work. The joints and the bones, they need to work, because you need a certain physical conditioning for Egyptian dance, and you need it more if you are doing it on stage. If there is no physical work, it's going to show. Just like with you, your technique with the kanun. What happens if you don't practice for an entire month?
Oh, my finger will be so rough.
مش كده?
I'll get cramps. You get cramps.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Exactly the same. You don't lose your talent. La, you are still George. You are still your talent. But the vehicle, the body, is not responding anymore. It's rusty. So you need to engage the machine, so that the machine can deliver. Okay? And if you do that, I believe that with age we improve. Yes, we improve, even with physical limitations, because also as an older dancer, you learn how to work with physical limitations. Okay, that's something else that experience will give you.
Yeah.
Okay, you work around physical limitations and you heal yourself and you recover and you have that stamina to work around what you've got. Now, we have so much more to share. We're going to do a live and recorded masterclass, both of us, on the 20th of February on the aesthetics and musicality of Egyptian dance. What I'm going to do is I'm going to invite everyone to join us. This is a part of the course I've already mentioned, how to create an irresistible Egyptian dance performance. So I decided to open this class to the public, but this is a class for the course specifically. I'm going to share the link in the comments below this video, and I'm also going to invite everyone who is not a part of our community to join Joana Saahirah's World newsletter. The link will also be shared below. Very soon, I will have you in my podcast, The Oriental Cafe, talking about this baby. Okay? So Mr. George has this beautiful new book out. It's something that I recommend to every dancer, Oriental dancers. You must have this. But soon enough, I'm going to tell you why I recommend it, okay? So we will record our episode around this book very, very soon, and we're going to bring it to our audience at the Oriental Cafe podcast. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I will provoke you a lot, huh? Beware. This is going to be an interesting conversation. I have so many notes all over the book. Yalla, oui. I will tell you one thing. Ya lahwi.
Ya lahwi?
Aywa. I will only tell you this. Ya lahwi.
Ya lahwi?
Ya lahwi, akhuya. Be prepared. You are thinking, oh my God, what is this?
You are a real بنت بلد. Egyptian بنت بلد.
طبعا أنا عارفة. طبعا على طول. أنا بنت البلد على طول. With pride يعني.
Yeah.
Pride. Thank you so much, Mr. George.
We'll see you soon.
I will see you soon.
Bye,
and
guys.
we will see everyone soon. Guys, a big, big kiss. Mwah.